14. Oh, it's being recorded. Okay, thank you. So allow me to appreciate your effort as organizers. And secondly, allow me to thank the Almighty God for having made it possible for us to meet and interact in this manner as young people of Africa. Like you mentioned me earlier, my full names are Timothy Mulenga Sapato, a governance expert, just like you put it. I think the only thing that you left out was the fact that I've been with Ciali, where I'm trying to write my bike exams, which will commence tomorrow, September 20th. I think that's it about me. You have already introduced me, so I don't want to go further and, bore the audience with, things that we have already talked about.
Yes. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The first question that is going to go to you, that I'm going to ask you prior to getting on the very actual meet, is what has made you so exceptional, sir? 3 books, one for the forward written by our very renowned Professor Patrick Lumumba. What has made you so exceptional? We understand that we're having a lot of students that graduate, not even developing one skill, but you, during your university time, you sat as a president, you authored those books, and you have received government awards. What has made you so exceptional looking at your age?
You see, Solomon, I think one thing that has made me get accepted in the industry and in every sector that I've ventured in, because you see, I started writing books and I was accepted in the industry, of which I received a book as the best nonfiction author. I embarked on governance. I received an award, a government governance accomplishment award in that particular sector. So, what has made it possible, dear listeners, is the fact that um, I've established myself. So, what happens basically is people do not know who they are. That's where the problem begins from. But for me, I identified myself at a tender age. I was just 15 years when I was given different roles, in primary school as a class representative from grade 4. So I've grown up in that field. You would be shocked if I told you that I'm currently leading 400 students at Ziale. Okay. So I think what has made this possible is number one, humility is very important. Humility. Number two, self-identification. Number three, it has been acceptance. Then number four, it has been the hard work that I've put in these various works. So to start with, humility is very important. I, for one, come from a very humble background. I was raised in the village of Kasama in the northern province of Zambia. From there, I lost my parents at a tender age. I was just 5. I lost my father when I was 9. I grew up with my grandmother, and the schools I went to, Solomon, they are not even as bright schools as I would be deemed to be, because I actually went to West schools. Like, when I tell people that I did my undergraduate studies from NIPA, people don't believe it, because many people think maybe I obtained my study from abroad. Others think I was at the University of Zambia, and yet I was just at this small institution that we have made greater now. So humility comes there. It comes from there. When you are humble, you learn from other people that are, that are in front of you. It will not be in
Yes, yes.
Solomon, sorry, I received a call.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
We can now get you.
okay, I was interrupted. There was a call on my phone.
Yes.
So I learned from those people. I'm a person that will learn from anyone, regardless of their, religion, whatsoever. I don't mind. Even a mad person, I can learn something from them because I believe every person carries some sort of lesson that we can learn from. So now, when I talk of that's humility, number one, then number two, self-identification. You know, Solomon, because you have put up this Zoom meeting, then I should be doing such activities as a part of. Because you have written a book, then I should start writing books as well. That becomes a problem because if you're not an author, you should not copy how people are living. That's where the problem comes from. You need to know yourself. So when I was grade 10, I was actually a very bad boy in our time at Kamala High School. But it was people that kept telling me that in as much as you are drinking alcohol, you are different from these people. This does not suit you. Why smoking? This does not suit you. So I would be shocked wherever I've gone, I've held a position or people have asked for my opinion. That has been my, you know, that's why when I tell people my age, they don't believe. Even when I was 15, I would tell people my years, they would not believe because they thought I was quite elderly because of the things that I was putting across. So now, self-identification, I identified myself at the age of 15 that I'm a leader who is actually set to be on the reign of this country as the Republic of Zambia. I'm so patriotic to my country. So it was through that identification. I identified myself, I'm a leader. Then what happens is acceptance. Many people have identified themselves, but they don't accept who they are. You don't accept that you are an author. You want to live like musicians or footballers that are making money. You want to force it. That's fair to accept yourself. So there's no acceptance there. So remember, we started from humility, then we said self-identification, then third, we are saying acceptance. Accept where you come from. Me, I come from Matero. Even, as we speak right now, I think I'm one of the people that are successful in Matero. My entire generation, people I was with in high school, they're junks. They're just smoking, drinking. There's nothing productive coming from them. That's the field I was raised from. But sometimes I would say, but why was I born from Matero? But why? My friends were born from Kablonga. My friends are doing all me. I'm working to go to school. But there is a reason. So that was acceptance. I accepted my position and said, well, I have to accept it. Then what did I do after accepting it? I had to work on myself. I said, I'm not going to let Matero define me. I'm not Solomon. I'm not going to let NIPA. NIPA is a renowned institution that had a very bad name, and it still has, because people think nothing good can ever come out from NIPA. Now the institution calls me each and every day. Whenever there is a program to feature on TV, whenever they want to exhibit anything, they call me. Why? Because I worked on myself. And I said, I'm not going to be defined by Kasama, the village where I grew up from. I'm not going to be defined by Matero. I'm not going to let my institution define me. I dine and wine with people who have gone to better universities than I have done. But that has not defined me. I did what I could, and I'm not moving with written words on me that I don't have. I didn't go to high class institutions. So you see, that's working on myself. I said, how do I get to work with ministers? I have to work on myself so that I'm accepted in this particular field, and that's what happens. So basically, I've been built by those four pillars that I brought out. Number one, humility. Number two, self-identification. Number three, it has been self-identification, acceptance, then hard work, working on myself. I think that's what has led to this.
Thank you very kindly, Honorable Timothy Sapato. We really appreciate it. So we have heard humility, acceptance. You need to accept who you are. Just because you have seen our Honorable being pursuing the field of law, it is not my responsibility to become a lawyer, or it is not supposed to be my aim to become a lawyer. I'm supposed to find my niche. That is where my greatness lies. I believe each and everyone is learning something. If you are learning something, you can kindly type in the chat box, I'm learning something, before we continue. So, Honorable Sir,
Yes, sir.
we have heard the cries of the youths saying we are not being involved in public making decisions. In other words, I'm meaning the political space. We have heard many youths complaining we are not being involved. What do you think is the problem, and how can we position ourselves as youths in the new regime? We understand we cannot run away from the fact that we're having a new government. Yes. How can we position ourselves as youths to enhance this change?
You see, Solomon, I'll
Yeah.
ask you one. What is the older generation of leaders known for in Zambia? The best thing that they've ever done for this country, apart from getting independence. The older generation have been known for corruption.
Yes.
Some of the ministers we're having right now, they have no solid leadership record than we have right now. They don't have proper CVs than we have. So mainly, what affects young people, the problem we have seen is lack of self-esteem, and lack of confidence. And that has become a problem. For us who have taken time to read on great leaders, we realize that young people with leadership, it's just now that you are saying young people cannot be in leadership. Look, biblical times, Josiah in the Bible became king at the age of 8.
Mm-hmm.
David in the Bible, was he 18, 20? Look at the history of King Solomon himself. In the Bible, these were young people. I'm inspired by the king who became king at the age of 8 years. In the Bible, he's there. I just forgot his name. It should be Joshua, Josiah. He became king. David became king at a tender age. What is stopping us now? Why should you have someone say, we cannot work with a younger generation? Where is the problem? When we have solid leadership records, where we're coming from, the people, today actually I was giving a farewell message to my friends at Ziali, my colleagues. And if I share the messages I was receiving, it was so touching. Like, people opening up and saying, the first time we elected you as a representative, we thought you were a quiet person and you're not going to manage, but you have led us well. That has been like everyone's slogan, where people stand up and see, sir, you have a great future ahead of you.
Yes.
That I can't even see it, but it's the people that are seeing this. But why should you have a person stand up today, their regime is known for corruption, then tell you young people cannot be in government? That becomes a problem. So, and that has got to the heads of young people. They think we have to attain a certain age for us to be in leadership. There is no age. There is no stipulation whatsoever. There is no restriction. We just have to believe in ourselves. That's why we have dedicated ourselves to service. Reason being, we want to awaken. My book was called Awake for Governance. I was awakening a new generation of leaders because I believed leadership. When growing up in Bemba, they used to tell us at Shani, imiti kulempanga. At seedlings of today are the forest of tomorrow.
Yeah.
But they told us when we begin, we start being a forest. They have not told us. So when are we going to for how long are we going to listen to the song that you said are future leaders? How long? Look at Kenneth Kaunda. We're getting old, Solomon. Very soon, we'll no longer be youths. And yet we still believed in youth as the future leaders. When are we going to be leaders? That has been a problem. So this is actually the time. That's why in my new book called The Dawn of Young Leadership, it's actually a prophecy of what is happening today. I said now with Chanomba, young people must be in governance now.
Yes.
So what has killed people? Just the morale, and they block us. There's no lack of support whatsoever from the government, and they infringe on those who have potential to be great leaders, and that's why the problem begins from where persecuted as a young person, and your family is saying, no, politics, you just die. Just leave it, let it be, you die. Look, church has gone in for treason, so even you are way, stop. So that because of the leadership that we have been exposed to, we think that's what leadership is all about. Because our current leaders and former leaders, they made governance look like it's it's a situation where we have to take a risk and embark on governance, which is not supposed to be the case because this is service. So many people are scared of cadres. In the particular front, it was very difficult to even voice out on issues that matter. People were so scared because of violence from cadres. I think that made the young people shun away from issues to do with governance, as well as low self-esteem. We don't believe in ourselves. We have many young people that say, let these the older people work. Youth, they can't give one of us because what can we do? You see, the third thing, we don't believe in ourselves as young people. That's where the problem has been. So if we begin working together, if we believe in one another as young people, then you're going to get a phobia that has to do with political persecution, whatsoever, and you're going to achieve. So mainly just that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable, for those wonderful insights that you have given us. Honorable, do you think it has to do with positioning? Because in Zambian setup, in most African setup, you find that we cry so much to say we are being recycling leaders over and over. Do you think that youths lack the support system where they don't support anyone? As a result, they don't find themselves in the corridors of power. Because what we see is that when one government is out of power, for example, those that are in the opposition, they form more like one political party. They start supporting maybe one candidate.
Wins they come.
Yes, when they win. Do you think it is a reason of positioning, or maybe us as youths have failed in line of positioning ourselves for these leadership positions?
You see, long ago, our friends, those who are lucky, positions were created for them. Platforms were created for them. Capacity building platforms were given to them. Look, I'll give you an example of former President Edgar Lungu. He was educated for free at the University of Zambia. He was given a platform. I'll give you an example of Vernon Mangankombola. He was chosen at the age of 18 as a diplomat, at the age of 21 as a minister. Yeah, he's actually one of the youngest ministers who have ever lived in Zambia. So platforms were created for them. So us, we also have this sense of feeling that platforms will be created to us like it has been in the past.
If you're finding this meeting,
but
yes,
you get me?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so one thing that we have to realize is the fact that no one, because Pavio Makarobo, one of my inspirations, is an MP for Sakile, told me one thing. He said, Timothy, no one will put a ladder for you to go up in politics. No one will put a ladder for you to go up. If these people were interested in the affairs of young people, since they say we don't have experience, then why not appoint young people as permanent secretaries? So that at least they learn from current ministers. They appoint you, Solomon, as a PS in the Ministry of Finance, so that as Mr. Musokotwane ages, is no longer there, you have the necessary experience to be a minister. That is no longer there. So we're dealing with selfish individuals at this particular time. Selfish individuals that have realized that young people have a voice. That's why you saw HH transform into Bali, because the Bali name would attract him to more young people. These young people who have a sense of belonging and a sense of feeling that they will be affiliated more to him. That's why they give him a vote. And that's what the problem has been. So now we should strive to set a trend where we say, no. The only person who can stand for other young persons is a youth, a fellow young person. Then that would be the genesis of revolution in Zambia. So what we are seeing is selfishness. The current government, Solomon, I was willing to work with the current government for the betterment of Zambia. But what happens? You bring older people that have been in all governments. Mr. Mutati is my father. I know him personally. I've no acrimony against him. But look, Mr. Mutati is a minister I grew up watching on TV when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
He's a minister that I'm watching today. He has been in 3 governments. What is it that they have not achieved that they want to achieve now? That would be a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that they have not achieved that they want to achieve now? On top of that, Mr. Mutati has a political party. Now, look, Ulanda, when we talk of political will, nothing distracts your vision. Okay? Now, here is President Mutati. He formed a party, right? Called MDC. He said, I want to be president. And I asked him why. When I met with him, he said, no, I was not a driver. So I could not bring the change I wanted because I was just merely on the bus. So I said, oh, so now you need to be in the driving seat. He said, yes, I need to be in the driving seat so that I bring the change that I feel is best for the country. So I said, no, we're willing to support you, sir. What happens? Today has gone back again on the bus. Someone who said they wanted to be the front seat has gone back on the bus. And he said, I couldn't bring change because I was a mere person. This time around, he's also a mere person. Why didn't he refuse if he means well? He said, no, I don't want to be a messenger, a person. You see?
Mm-hmm.
The problem number 1. So what has killed many affairs is actually selfishness by these politicians. They don't want to work with young people. You create new ministries, and yet you don't have young people on board. That becomes a problem. So we're just doing the same thing over and over. We're having people that have already been in government. You are bringing back today Sylvia Masebo. She was a minister. We grew up listening to Sylvia Masebo. She's a minister today. You're telling me there is no one who can run the ministry? People are there. So now, I think it's just a selfishness where the older generation, they know the people they were with, the people they suffered with, and they still want to work with those people. That's where the problem has come. So we are merely used as ladders. Not that we are not doing our best to be Solomon. If they want to say we need active young people, they know where to find us. How did you find me? I didn't call you, did I?
No.
But you were in Russia. You called me. I was in Zambia, not so.
Yes.
So meaning no distance can either can make it impossible for you to reach people that are action oriented and people you can work with. So you're telling me there is no young person in Zambia that can be considered for any position and start working. They're not grooming us. So now we have to realize that we have to fight for power. Otherwise, we have not been left with any option. We just have to fight for it. So it's just selfish desires by the older generation of leaders. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what can we do in this space to make sure that we build, because by the end of the day, if we lack mentorship, which means we'll be ill prepared when our time comes, what can we do to change the narrative? Because we, Honorable, before you come in, we see the likes of Thomas Sankara, very young, yet changing the history of Burkina Faso. We see even the likes of Dr. Kaunda, David Kaunda. He was very young, but yet he managed to contribute something to our great nation. He's the founding father of our great nation. So what can we do as young people to make sure that we change something in our country, we change something in the history of Africa? What do you think we can do?
What has happened, Solomon, is I, for one, I've stopped now, even when I'm giving speeches, to say, no, Nelson Mandela said this. And there have been many people that have said, that have called me, Obama, Bambi, Awanan. I said, no, call me by my name, because I want to leave a certain legacy in my own capacity, not as an. What I'm trying to say is, I think God has purposely planted us for a reason that Zambia fought for political independence. But now there is another independence that we're supposed to fight for. That's economic independence, which will be driven by we young people. That's why you saw Kenneth Kaunda being mourned by the entire African continent, because he went to Zimbabwe to facilitate the transition there. He went to South Africa, he went to Mozambique, he was in Malawi, he was in Tanzania. That calls for spirit of oneness. As young people, we should work together. That can only be achieved if we young people come together, hold hands, then our dream is going to be implemented. Look at the power that we have. We managed to kick Edgar Lungu out of office, didn't we?
We managed.
Young people, what can make us fail to put Solomon Landa in government as an MP? Nothing. So young people have a voice, and young people have the necessary influence. They know what they want. It's just a matter of coming together in order to exhibit what we possess. And this will be through realization that no one will ever give us a platform. No one.
Mm-hmm.
No politician, because you know what is happening? Right now, Solomon, if I ask you a question, who is the leading opposition now? Ari Karaba. Ari Karaba for PF, right?
Yes, yes.
And the PF. So what will happen now? So meaning, when a bomb and they'll join Ari Karaba as the MDC, as the, what is party called? I've forgotten the name of the party. If they join Ari Karaba,
yes,
they'll come back in a different form.
Yes.
So, in as much as you are saying, okay, let's try after HH, let's try the next opposition. You know, that is not doing anything. The only spirit that we should have right now is I'll vote for a young person. So long as a young person understanding, I'm voting for you definitely. It doesn't matter the party you're standing on. So long as you're young, you have stood, I'm voting for you. That should be the spirit, working together. We hate each other as young people. Jealousy kills us.
Mm-hmm.
What has made me succeed in one way or the other is the ability to support other people. Me, I'm not jealous of anyone. If someone are doing well, I'll come to you and instead learn from you and say, can you teach me? How did you manage to do this?
Mm-hmm.
There is a boy that I have been mentoring. You can't believe that he was actually Zambia Open University Student Union President, Nelson Nyirenda. He's been following me so close. I'm sure you've seen pictures of me and him. He's been following me so close. He's learning and he's transforming, you can tell. Yesterday, I was invited for an event in Chaham. I didn't go there. I said, Mwana, I'm busy. Can you go and represent me? He went. What is making it possible for him is the ability to learn and to support other fellow young people. Now, the problem is we don't want to learn from other youth that are doing well. Look, we have different expertise, Moranda. What course are you studying?
I'm doing nuclear power engineering.
Yes. Me, I'm doing law. I'm sure we have doctors on board.
Yes.
I'm sure we have doctors on board. So
Yes.
we're a complete state. We have every necessary tool. If it means us winning an election, maybe you need petitions. How do you need, election officer? We have lawyers who are able to draft the law and say, do this. In case I'm beaten by cadres or because of violence, we have doctors who are there to. We have the necessary. Now, the problem is that, look, you are working alone
Mm-hmm.
in your field. I'm working alone in my field. If we come together and say, no, I think it's high time that we vote for fellow young persons, things will change. So as we speak, my friends and I, we are actually in the process of forming our own party, which will start as a way of a movement. I'm revealing to you because I've received calls from different people to say, no, but what are they thinking? We thought HH would change the narrative by bringing new people, young people on board. But look, already is doing what other people were doing in the former government. So that simply tells us that there is nothing for us if it is not invoked by us. So what we just need is just working together. That's it, working together as young people. The same we woke up at 04 to go and vote for Bari. We should wake up at 04 to go and vote for other young persons. We say, no, people from Lusaka, vote for young persons. Whoever is young, vote. That's the only way we're going to change the narrative.
Yes. So we have heard as young people on this platform, our ability to take up these roles. I know that we have many people on this platform that are very interested in politics. This is the time to connect with people that are doing something. Don't stand alone. Support one another. It doesn't matter which field. We have seen our honorable writing books. If you can buy those books, study the history, how things operate, study about leadership, about where you are coming from. why we're here. That will help you become relevant. It's not always that you are supposed to limit yourself as a doctor to your fellow medical doctors. What if you need someone to represent you in court? We don't know what comes tomorrow. It is high time that we connect with our fellow young people. We connect with people like the Honorable is saying, we support one another. It doesn't matter. Look at how we are talking right now. Honorable, me, I'm in nuclear power engineering. He's in law.
Yeah.
But we have connected over the common goal, which is to provide relevance to our young people. In your space, let us connect and unite as young people, because we will change the narrative of our great nation. Contribute something in the society. Don't remain quiet like those days that we used to conclude that a person is intelligent by keeping silence. You know, the student that is looking as if they are paying attention in class, they're the most intelligent. No, contribute something in your own community. At this particular time, sir, we really apologize for passing through your time, but we'll allow some questions so that people can also get to interact. Honorable.
Sure thing.
Yes. So we are open for questions. Any questions?
Yeah, we can ask questions.
Any questions? Any questions? Yes, Dr. Arts, you can ask your question.
Yes. Honorable, I've got a question. There
Yes.
is this kind of folks of people, I can say a youth that always say, no, I don't want to engage myself in politics. No, I don't want to be political. No, I don't want to affiliate myself to these kind of talks. Or probably they can say, no, why is this matter engaging into political vices? So what advice do you have for such people? Because I personally have been involved with certain kind of friends whereby they don't want to talk about political matters, but yet are the things that are affecting them. Henceforth, it looks like we are going backwards when yet we are pushing them to be engaged in such a kind of programs for a better Zambia that we want to see. So what advice do you have for such kind of people where they don't want to engage themselves in such matters that are very critical and really need our attention, and yet at the end of the day, they are affecting them? I submit.
Okay. Dr. Arts, you see, the reason why we have people who are disinterested in talking about politics is the picture that politics has been given over the period of time. Initially, no better name has ever been given to politics, because people think politics is about corruption, oppression, you know, it's about negativity. That's why the problem has been. That's why the people to change the narrative, it's us young people. So now, the only way you can try to help such people is by virtue of, you see, don't talk about politics per se, but give them a picture of the country. Show them the kind of Zambia that we had before the Zambia that is here now. Show them the picture of a Zambia that would make tires. Ford Zamrup's company that we had was making tires. We're making our own cups in Zambia. We're making our own clothes, blankets through Murungush Textiles. Things that are no longer here now. And also give them the current picture of unemployment that we have right now. Give them a picture of people that are dying in hospitals. Yet there are people who have so much money, so much resources going in their personal pockets. A person who is peace-loving, a person who is so patriotic to this country would agree with you that, trust me, if young people don't take up in the next 10 years, then Zambia is going to be beyond repair. Not just Zambia, even other African countries. These countries will be beyond repair. So preach the message to them that it's just us who can change the narrative. Because why are we saying so? Look, the law that I'm studying today is not the law that other people, like other lawyers, like other lawyers in the past, like Wamumba Kapumba did. So things evolve. So now the knowledge that we have right now, trust me, my brother, if we're going to awaken Kaunda and Simon Mwansaka Pepa and say, come and govern right now, they can literally fail. They are great leaders. Even Mandela, they can fail today to govern. Why? Because societal needs change every day. So what I'm saying is, we, the young generation, we're the ones that have the novel knowledge that can be used in order to change the narrative and change the affairs of our country. Not bringing older people, because older people, believed in older ideologies of those days, which cannot work now. But it's you that is carrying, because even now, the courses that we're doing, they're tailored in a way that they suit the current environmental challenges. So that's what happens. So basically, talk to them from a leadership point of view, not from a political point of view. Separate politics from leadership when explaining to a person who is so arrogant on the affairs of this country. Speak from a leadership point of view and point out these wrongs and tell them to say, without you, there is nothing, and things will forever be affected. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Honorable. I really appreciate. There's a question coming from Charles Standa, and it reads, how best can we kill the negative perception of many people towards us young people in our country? Honestly speaking, it is hard to trust young people. So that is a question coming from Charles Standa.
They have made it look so. Yes, there's been that perception that you cannot trust young people. But look, it's not a matter of trusting young people. Me, I believe that it's not a matter of just waking up to go and vote for a person because they're young. You look at what they have done and what they're capable of doing. Lifestyle audit. Do a lifestyle audit and find out about these people so that at least we shouldn't have the same challenge. That's why in our capacity, we try by all means to come up with capacity building programs, because we believe just those capacity building programs which are going to change the mindset of young people so that at least we can be trusted. Because how can someone say we don't trust young people when we have never been in government? Me, I've never been a minister before. I've never been a government official before. But how can a person say we don't trust young people when we have never been tried before? It becomes a problem. So that notion should no longer be there. Just tell them one point. Tell me, it's apart from independence. Tell me what great leaders have done for the African continent. Tell me apart from independence. Tell me another good thing that leaders have done for our countries. So the B begins from there. So if other leaders have failed, then what happens? You change. You work with the younger generation, because that's a solution. So all of us were ambassadors to preach the voice of change. We are ambassadors. I say when a voice of a youth finds these two purposes in life, it shall transform into a mighty force that will lift the wings of change. So it's just this voice of inspiration. The way I'm speaking to you, we're over 30 here. You can speak to others, and that's the only way we're going to, to achieve the trust. Because what we need at the moment is trust from fellow young persons. Now, why I'm saying young people must make their own government. You see, it's very difficult to work in a government of the odd, because what will happen is, let's say I'm elected as minister today in the current government. Then I'll mirror and I'll second whatever is happening. I won't have an objective voice to say, no, this is not right. Because I've been given a position. Because I'm the minority there and my voice is less. So we need more people. If 10 people join Munia Zuri in parliament, if 10 people join Bino Mpundo, Romeo Kangombe, Christopher Kangombe in parliament right now, we would have like 50 youths in parliament. When you say we don't want this, we don't want this, trust me, it can lead to something. It can lead to something. So the only way can change the perception over trust and everything is by virtue of we preaching the voice of the word of love, the word of reconciliation. Let us endeavor to be different. Let us not show traces of Kadarism, and because that already robs the people of the confidence they have. So yeah, I think that's it. There was a question on there was a question on what inspired me to write a book called The Pen of an African Woman. Can I just answer it? So, you see, I sat down and I realized I've always said I can never be called honorable when women in society are vulnerable. We can't be honorables when women in society are vulnerable. So my governance doesn't stem from the fact that I'm supposed to be elected as MP or as appointed as minister for me to bring that change. No. My governance began the time I was young, and it's just, growing into a bigger fire, even at this point in time. So now I sat and realized and said, you see, there is rape happening everywhere. There is defilement. There are different sort of abuse against women. Now, if we sit down and wait for us to be elected MPs, then these people will not have a voice. No one is going to talk for them. We don't have to wait anymore. There's no reason to wait when people are being affected. So that book was actually a voice of many traditional vices that affect our women in society. The stereotype of saying, no, women cannot be in governance. No, women belong to the kitchen. The only way we can develop as a nation is by virtue of appreciating, loving, and respecting every person, whether they are women, whether woman, man, or youth. So now, basically, that book was a manifestation of the kind of society that I wanted to create. And I said, I'm going to venture into rights of women, because women are the most affected people. And if we wait, there will be no people to govern. If we wait, more women will be killed. More women will be defiled. More women will turn into, So basically, that was the inspiration behind that book. And the fact that I personally, I'm a victim, actually. My mother was a victim of gender-based violence. So speaking from my experience and what I've been seeing, and so that's what inspired my second book.
Wow, thank you so much, sir, for that enlightenment. Time is really ticking, so that the question, Mr. Lamek will come through, then Mr. Adrian. So, but before I allow Mr. Lamek to come through, there is a comment from Ms. Teresa. The problem in Zambia is that they believe older generation has more wisdom. They neglect the voice of the young generation. So you can come through as Mr. Lamek with the question that you have. Mr. Lamek, are you on the call?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Arts, for the opportunity. My question is, it's both a question and as well as a compliment on what the Honorable said. And it is like, Honorable, how best can we get lead of this leadership, especially when you look at today's leadership? It is full of corruption, and according to what I've studied so far, to my research on politics, specifically on public choice theory by James Tarlock and Buchanan, where they said most of the politicians, they seek politics like political offices. They look at them as the way a marketeer looks at a market, and their sole purpose is to maximize profit, okay? Of which, in simpler terms, it can relate to with a previous, I'm not condemning, with a previous government where corruption had rampantly grown. And how best can we redefine politics in general? How best can we redefine it? Where people have got a mindset of entering into offices for a particular benefit, for a certain enrichment, be it maybe for their personal portfolios. How best can we redefine politics?
What's your name again?
Lamek Irungu.
Mr. Lamek Chagwarungu. Okay, You see the problem which is in Africa. Mr. Solomon, are you there?
I'm here.
Sir, I believe the majority in this audience are Zambians, eh? Or
Yes.
mistaken?
The majority are Zambians.
Then you have other people from other youth from other countries.
Yes, you can
Oh,
translate.
God.
Yes.
I didn't know. Okay, I was making Zambia as an example, because Zambia is a good example of a bad example. So, because the problem we're facing in Zambia, the problem that they're facing in Zimbabwe, there's a young man called Nelson Chamisa there. They don't want to give him a chance. There's a young man, there's a, youthful leadership in Tanzania. There is this person called Jito. Is it Zito Kabwe?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, apologies for that.
Yes.
So, responding to your question, Mr. Lungu, you see, we have a new government in place in Zambia right now. And do you know the people who have woken up to offer checks and balances? It's the former party. Now, how do you offer checks and balances? Because you offer checks and balances so that you can take over. You're offering solutions. You say, no, our friends are failing. So let's offer solutions so that at least the people of Zambia should be convinced and place us into in a position of leadership where it can exhibit what we are saying. But look, the people offering checks and balances is the outgoing government. Now, but then what are we doing? So we're saying after UPN, then we should have again the former government come in the picture, which is not supposed to be the case. So now, look, young men have come up with a formula called the binoculars formula. I'm sure those who are in Zambia are able to relate. So the binoculars is a good formula, yes. It's meant to offer checks and balances. So what I'm trying to say is, the people to offer checks and balances, the current regime, whether in Zambia, be it in Zimbabwe, it's a younger generation. Because when the young generation voice out and wake up in numbers and go for change, they're going to have a younger person called Nelson Chamisa as the president of Zimbabwe. Even in Zambia, the only way that we can define Zambian politics is by virtue of changing political players. We have had the current political players, majority, William Banda, they were in MMD. They committed atrocities at that particular time. The reports of beating journalists, they're in power today. Majority of the people who are in government are people who have been in previous governments. They're not ministers, but maybe they were siding with previous governments. Which governments who said they failed. So what's the position right now? The position right now is to work together as young people. That's why now, come 2026, what I'm saying must be implemented. We should come up with a forum where we can, bring young people on board and voice out. Because I'm glad this government has come with a lesson to young people. This one now they're getting it and say, we're duped. They said they're going to work with young people, but look what they're doing. The only way is to have a new generation in government. That's the only way. There's no two ways about it. It's just having a complete new generation. It might not be me. I'm not saying I need to be president. I'm not saying Solomon should be minister. No. But having new political players who have never been in government before. We need a complete set of young people with new ideas to get in government. That's a solution. That's a solution.
Mr. Adrian, are you on the call? Since
Yes.
it's already
Yes.
6 p.m., so we must run up. You can just be quick in your question.
Okay. We've seen a good number of youths that want a change for Zambia. Like from my research, I've had a number of people wanting a change for the people of Zambia. Let's take, for instance, we want the government to give us scholarships, and then in the process of fighting for those scholarships, the only people that happens to be given scholarships are the only people that are given scholarships are those that fights for those particular positions, other than giving those numbers to every Zambian. Like let's take for instance, we have this situation that is going on with the students at Mulungushi University. Like there's this group of people that is fighting to be given to be awarded with scholarships. And the next story that we hear is that the 10 from those have been awarded with scholarships. The classic saying here is that
Mr. Adrian has left. Okay, can you have other questions? Maybe we can take two more.
Yes, I'll read the question coming from Chamoti. It's Chamoti, and the question reads, my questions are, as a voice and ambassador of the change I want to see, how best can we prepare ourselves for the future we want? Other than the few things you mentioned on starting your journey, what can we do today? I believe I can want something but not be ready for it at the same time. Thank you. Then there's also another one coming from the Vala. What strategies can we come up as young people to boost our confidence in our process to come up with transformation in the political field?
Okay, so I'll start with the question from Gloria Chamoto. You see, when you light a matchstick, it cannot burn alone. Okay, let me say, when you light a fire, you put more firewood if you want to set up a bigger fire. So that simply means you cannot exhibit your confidence, your leadership abilities as Gloria alone. You need to work with people who have the same vision as you. You need to know yourselves. I'm connected to many people who are doing the same things that I'm doing. And by virtue of that, I think I've been learning more and more from them. So first of all, you need to work with people who have the same vision as you, the same people, because you see, there's something that I read on Facebook where they said, you see, this bottle of water is called Aqua Savannah. I've bought it at the lodge. It costs 7 kwacha. But go to ShopRite, the same bottle of water will cost 5 kwacha. Go to go to the Lusaka Hotel or Intercontinental Hotel. The same bottle will cost 10 kwacha. Go to Arcades or go to East Park Mall. This same bottle of water will cost 20 kwacha. So that simply means your value, it depends on where you are. So be in a place where people value you. Be in a place where people know that if they put you in this position, then you can attract this amount of greatness. That's what matters. So what I'm trying to say is be in a team of people that will build your confidence more. Don't be in a team of naysayers, because they're going to demoralize you even further. They're going to, when I sit with the group is that we were interacting with many young people from other countries. We have a colleague from Zimbabwe, colleagues from Malawi and Kenya. As young people, we interact with people of the same mindset as me, so that we can build each other. So I think that's the only way that we can, embark on if we want to get rid of that mentality that you talked of. Yeah. Then the other question, I've forgotten the other question. Can I just read it?
I'll read it once more. What strategies can we come up with as young people to boost our confidence in our process to come up with transformation in the political field?
Okay, so leadership is not in general, to start with. Leadership is not in general. There is no, what I call a general leader. No. We have people from diverse leadership fields. We have people who are ambassadors of governance activities. Other people are into human rights. Other people are into women rights. Other people are into, what do we call it? Green Shan, green environment. Other people are into sports. So you can be a leader in the sports field. You can be a leader in the academic field. You can be a leader in the, different sectors. So what I'm trying to say is you should come up with a field that you feel can make you thrive more. As for me, I know I was good at writing. That's why I came up with a book, because I knew I would thrive in books. I can lead by way of writing books, and that was newspaper. I said, oh, wow, since I'm able to articulate, I can speak on behalf of the voiceless. Then I will defend women in particular. So my leadership borders on the rights of women as well as young people. You never hear me talk of the vulnerable, I would say the aged. Yeah? You never hear me talk about the disabled. No, that's not my field. My field is exclusive, is entirely borders on youth activism as well as women rights. So other people have their strength in other fields. So you have to identify your field where you know you can thrive the most and adapt to that field. And the other thing I forgot is consistency. Don't change. I've been talking about youth government. I'm sure even in the time, by God's grace, I'll be in a position of a higher leadership position. Most of you will be shocked and say, hey, this guy from the age of 16, he was just talking about, youth leadership, and today is in this position. So be consistent in that particular field that you identify. Yeah, that's also one of the ways that we can, thrive as a way of answering that question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Mr. Adrian, you'll be given time to just wrap up your questions so that it can be answered. Mr. Adrian, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm there. Sorry. So yeah, we've seen a good number of people fighting for positions in the government, fighting for employment and other things to do with school, like scholarships. And we've learned that the government gives these positions, but not to everyone. It gives only to selected individuals that might be attacking the government to the point, and then the story ends there. Is there a way for the youth or for you, the Honorable, to tell that you can address these guys that that changes their minds and switch for the government? Like when they are favored, they forget about their friends. Like here we are fighting for these positions, we are against the government, but tomorrow we are given these positions simply because we've been given, rather offered with these positions. We change and we start supporting the government because of what the government has offered to us, forgetting that there are other people outside there that needs these positions as well.
Okay, just as I guess this will be my last. This is the last question, Mr. Mulanda. I have an exam tomorrow, so you pardon me so that I can start. But we can always arrange for another. Is that okay, Mr. Mulanda?
Yes, very, very okay. Actually, we had to take the last question. We were supposed to be done by now. Yes.
Okay, sure. So, responding to your question, my brother, consistency defines a man. Consistency defines a man. By man, I mean both male and female. So, look, I like giving an example of myself because I've gone through a lot. At some point, I didn't have tuition fees and I was almost chased out of school. And the person that helped me to pay my fees was the former minister who was at some point taken to court for corruption, Dr. Sharu Chirofia. He's a person that gave me the funds, but did that stop me from speaking? No. I've had, chances to interact with the former president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, on many occasions, many ministers in the Patriot Fund, as well as other government officials. But my interaction or my connection with the PF did not stop me from voicing out on what I thought was wrong. So that is consistent. Because for me, I know the only time that I'll stop talking is when we have a youthful government in place. It may not be me, but even though I get old and I don't make it in government, which is impossible, I'll still speak so that young people who come after me can take up. And that will be the only time I'll stop speaking. So me, I've vowed to die for this country. I've vowed to die for the youths of Zambia, because I know if I keep quiet, they say a closed mouth is a closed destiny. We must learn to speak out, regardless of the favor that you are given. Because at the end of the day, yes, some people are vulnerable. They need bursaries. Some people need food, but that should not make you stop talking. In fact, people are going to believe in you more as young people if you stand to your words, if you're able to act despite of whatever comes your way. That is the only thing. Consistency, very important. If I'm put as a minister today, and if I see that young people are still being oppressed, trust me, I can even resign. I can even resign today. If I was appointed in any position and I see that nothing is happening, it's better I resign other than being affiliated to a regime, that never regarded young people. Because we understand everyone comes from that age. It was young people that fought for freedom. It was young people that died for this country. So nothing should stop that. We must remain true to ourselves and our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for those great insights that you really shared. We really appreciate. I want us to take this time to appreciate everybody that has attended this meeting. I, for one, have been changed. My life has been transformed, and I'll continue positioning myself, and I'll use these elements that you shared to position myself so that I can see opportunities attracted to me. At this particular moment in time, I'll hand over the floor to the Vala. Sir.
Okay, before Solomon speaks, let me just give my contact details in case of the young people that would still want to communicate with me. Yeah, I'll leave them.
Yes, and where can we find the books so that we can buy in case there are people that on this platform want to buy?
Okay, the books, we don't have the books in stock yet, but I will be able to communicate once we have new books printed and restocked. We're surely going to communicate.
Okay, no problem.
So those I've actually shared the details, my email, yes, and everything. Just type in my email now. So in case there is anyone who want to get in touch, they can easily get in touch with me. Yes. So thank you very much for the opportunity. It has been wonderful listening to different views.
Yes.
Of course, I've learned a lot from the questions that were coming across, from the contributions. I really appreciate it, and hopefully after my exams, we'll be able to interact more.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate, and we had a very great time. One thing to take away: support someone, support that family of yours, support your siblings, support that woman out there, support, because that is why you get to create families and create groups that will benefit you, not only you and your society. Be supportive to your friends. We understand we have friends, we have fellow students. Be supportive to them, and be active in your community and in your various fields that you are involved in. Be active. So thank you so much. Have a good evening, and remember to stay relevant and develop skills that are going to better up your future. So it has been the Vala's webinar. Till next time, manifesting the hidden you, the power. I want the response from the audience. The Vala's
manifesting the hidden you. Power behind we.
Power behind we.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Till next time, and remain valuable.
Thank you.
We're going to send all the entire details of our honorable to your contact details. So if anyone invited you, make sure that we get connected with you. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.